Hello my lovely, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to give you my update on how I've been doing in March with all my Natasha Denona palettes. I am doing a year in palettes project, which means I'm going to try very hard to use all the palettes I have in my collection this year at least once. And now you might think, girl, where has the February video gone? You would be right. I have been playing with my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette in February, but maybe it's not, I don't think it's very commonly known, but Anastasia, I don't know her last name. I'm realizing right now, I don't know her last name, but Anastasia from Anastasia Beverly Hills is in a little bit of a kerfuffle kind of a thing on the interweb because she's allegedly pro-Putin, and I have to turn up this a little bit. And I don't know this for sure, but there's been a lot of rumors around her, around the brand, and as of now, they haven't been saying, no, we're not pro-Putin, of course we're not, oh my god, what are you saying? So I'm taking a little bit of a break from the brand. I don't want to portray them too much on my channel at the moment because of the situation in Ukraine. Or the situation, are you kidding me? The war in Ukraine and all the stuff that's going on there. I don't want to pick sides normally, but in this case I am picking sides. And I don't want to support a brand that is supporting Putin or that administration. I'm not saying Russia because I don't think that's fair, but if you're supporting Putin and his administration and everybody who is pro-war, yeah, no, I'm sorry, you can take a seat and leave me out of that. So I won't be filming that video. If you want to know which palettes I love the best, then leave me a comment down below because I would love to share that with you. But this month, it's Natasha Denona month. We all love her palettes, we all love her brand. And I was like, you know what? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 palettes of her. And you know the thing is, I don't even think I have the biggest Natasha Denona collection. There are people who have more, but I think that's a lot already. What I've been doing, I have been using all the palettes this month at least once, sometimes on combined palettes because I wanted to see how they work together. And I ran a little bit out of time, so that is why I had to combine some palettes. And the reason for that is because I got COVID. Yes, she got to me. Rona got to me and she had me poofed out for like 2 weeks. So I had 2 weeks left and I had to use everything. In these videos, I'm going to share some looks I've created. I'm going to share my thoughts on each of the palettes. I'm trying to keep it a little bit short because we don't need to be here like 45 minutes or something like that. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit short, but I wanted to tell you what I think of these palettes and what I think of the brand overall. I'm not necessarily ranking them because you can choose between your babies. You just can't. They all have something. There are some palettes that I like a little less than others, but I will let you know when I get to that palette, but it's not a ranking by any means. I don't wanna put myself up to that task. No, that's not what we're going to do today. So I'm going to pop up the first look. I'm going to get it on my phone and I will pop it up here for you, so you will see what I mean. But I don't know what I'm talking about if I don't know them by heart. Yeah, it's a thing. Okay, I'm going to start off with the first look, and I've created this with the Biba palette. This is the Biba palette. We all know this, we all love this. I think this is a beautiful companion palette in your collection. If you are like me and you love colorful makeup, I love colorful makeup, but I keep my looks a little bit more soft, a little bit more wearable, like a soft color glam. Basically, that is what I love to do. I love to play with color, but I also have to look presentable because I work a corporate job. I had to interview one of our bosses today in front of all my colleagues, and this is what I wore. I think this is perfectly fine, but it is colorful. I'm wearing the Born to Run palette by Urban Decay, but I digress. This is the palette I've used for the look you see in the picture. What I did for this look, I just combined everything. I didn't go for a row. I just got the looks. I just got the shades that I thought would be handy to use for this look. So I used Freckle, I used Tusk, I used Seed, I used Rayon, and I stayed away from all the shimmers because I just like a full matte look more. And I must say that I do like these shimmers. I love Monroe the most. It's a stunning shade. But the rest, I don't know. I'm not like, not head over heels. I like her cream to powder formula, Tone, Spot, Tor and Rayon are cream to powder. I love those, but these other ones, they're like a little mediocre, I must say. And I always have to spray my brush because otherwise it goes everywhere. So that is something to keep in mind. But Biba is a very high quality palette. It's beautiful. The shades blend perfectly. I love it. And especially, as I said, as a companion to, if you have a lot of colorful makeup in your stash and you like to combine color with neutral, then Biba is a beautiful companion palette to that. It's a little bit more expensive, so okay. We're moving on. I did a look with the Natasha Denona retro palette. That is this one. This palette has been a favorite from so many YouTubers. I saw them in there like favorites and fails for 2022. Everybody had that as their favorite. I really like the palette, but I will get to that. And I combined it with the Love palette. This was a limited edition. I don't necessarily know if it's totally out of stock now, but it was limited edition, so that's the thing. And the reason I combined these two is because the thing is, this palette looks quite deep, right? This like retro palette, I think this is a stunning shade, but it's really like purpley berry-esque and not as dark as you might think when you look at this shade in the palette. I always have to deepen it up with this one. This is Apart and this one is Rebellion. And I like, or is it Opart? Oh, Opart. It's Opart. I always have to use this shade to deepen up the look. So what I wanted to do was combine it with this one. Because you have this very dark shade in here that's called Commitment. I put that in my outer corner. And as you can see, it's like a, I will see if I can smudge it a little bit. It's like a deepened or blackened plum. It's really beautiful, but it's a bit different than Opart because Opart is like a very cool toned brown. And I think that looks, or has a very good place in this palette. So it's beautiful in this palette, but I just wanted to combine the two. And I think I used mainly the shimmers out of this palette and I used mainly the mattes out of the retro palette. Now, the retro palette, as I said, I really like this palette. I think it is very beautiful. It has some very beautiful tones. I really like Amara. I like Go-Go. I like these two topper shades. These are a little bit finicky to work with sometimes. You have to spray your brush, but what I think works best is just layer a different type of pink, like a shimmer, like Jude is like a true shimmer. If you have something like that, you have to layer that underneath that, like Vivian maybe, and then put the topper shade over that, because there's not a lot of pigment or base to these shades. So as you can see, if you like put it on your finger, then you have a lot of opacity. But if you, like me, like to wear or like to use brushes when you do your looks, then yeah, you have to reach for something else. So you can, and I think the almost like cool tonedness, do I say it like that? The cool tonedness of this palette is very beautiful and very complementary to the Love palette. So if you have the Love palette and you're like, I don't need the retro palette because I have this, I would disagree a bit, and I feel they make a beautiful companion towards each other. Now, I haven't been using this palette a lot, but what I have been using I really loved. As I said, I really like Commitment. I think it's a beautiful shade. That blackened plum is so stunning, and I really liked working with this with the shimmers that you have in here. You have Given, and I think I used Transparent as well. So what I've used so far, I really liked about this palette, but both of them. This one a little bit more gives you like that one look if you're not careful. Because if you are not careful, you're always going to reach for the same like transition shade. You're always going to reach for the deepen them up shade. It's the Commitment. It's the only one you can really deepen up the look. Or you can use Passion, but it's not that dark. So you always end up with something similar of a look. And I have the same feeling with this one a little bit, but you have some more options here when it comes to Like you have Vivian, but you also have Nude Mauve, Amara. It's just a little bit of a different tone than maybe a Groove. So there's a little bit more diversity in this one. But what I don't really like about this palette is that you have these two shades look really dark, but they give a totally different color. And I would love for them to be a little bit more true to color in the pen, because they look a lot alike as well. So yeah. Then the next palette is the Gold palette. And this is a palette that everybody loves. This palette I think is discontinued right now. Sometimes it comes back on Sephora, Nordstrom, I don't know. But sometimes it floats its way back. It's a beautiful palette. But it's one of my least favorite palettes in my collection from Natasha Denona. The reason for that is because these are all very much alike. It's on the eye, these are all going to look the same. And I am not someone that only loves color. I also like neutrals a lot. It's just that if I play with only neutrals and I do an only neutral look, I'm like, the process I like, but then the result I'm like, huh. Yeah, I'm missing something. I'm missing a nice little shift or sparkle or an interesting color. So that's why I don't really love to only do neutral looks. It's just, I think it's a bit boring, but that's a personal thing. And these shades are all so much alike. So it's a good thing it's discontinued. Because if you have to skip one, I would totally say skip this one, because it's not that special. Also, I will put the picture that I had at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it's like 3 or 4 hours in. I used this shade and it totally wear off. I don't know what that is, but sometimes with Natasha Denona shades, they wear off really quickly. And with this palette, that definitely happens. So this is not a favorite of mine. I like it, but it's no. Okay, the next picture is from a look I did with the Glam palette. So this beautiful baby. This is also one of those palettes everybody loves. It's a $65 palette. It's in her midi size. This is also a very beautiful companion palette if you have more of a colorful collection like I have. But if you have Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette, then you don't need this, because it's very similar. If you want to use it as a companion palette. If you love neutrals and you love cool tone neutrals, then this baby is it's stunning. Yeah, it's the quality is there. It's beautiful. Sometimes I must say I don't always think that these shades are the easiest to blend, but that is maybe because they are so cool toned. That is normally what I see on my eyes. If I use a cool toned shade, then it's a little bit less easy or a little less easy to blend than when I use a warmer tone. I think that it's just a pigment thing. I don't know, but I have the same problem with the Sultry. But I love this palette, and I especially love this. This is Inner Corner. That's, yeah, it's a bit boring. But this is like or am I right? Yeah, this is Inner Corner. I have that, I think, all over my lid, or at least at like half and then inner part of my lid. I love this because it's like can I show you? It's almost like a rosy champagne. It is so beautiful, and it's a stunning shade to just work with on its own. You can spray it, but you don't always need to do that to get the usual payoff. Not the same as like the Monroe with the Biba palette. These shimmers I think are way higher quality. And I also love this. This is center lid. I used this on the center and then did this in the inner corner. As she is suggesting in the name, so very creative there, but that is what I did. I also used lash line, I used blend, I used crease, and I used outer eyelid. And I used them in exactly the same spots as she is suggesting in the palette. You know, sometimes you just have to roll with it, you know. But I really do like this palette. I love that I have it because you have these beautiful... These shades are really, really stunning. You have these golds, silver, taupes. Oh my gosh, these are stunning. And I love that she combined them with these like rosy tone shades as well. So you can get some beautiful looks out of this. And as I said, beautiful companion palette to a somewhat more colorful collection. Okay, for the next look, I have used the Sunset palette. Ooh, this one. It's this one. It's in that same format as like the Gold palette, but with totally like warmer shades. It is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I really like that I have this. I bought these. I bought practically all my Natasha Denona palettes on sale. I almost never buy them right away because I'm never quick enough with a review, so I just wait for her sale. Usually she has a great sale coming Black Friday. She has bundles and stuff, so I think I bought the Zendo, the Sunrise and the Love palette in like one bundle, so that was a great deal. I've used this palette for the look you're seeing on the screen right now, and I also use for my inner corner. You see that very glittery shade? That's a Ladybird, I think it's called, the Super Shock from Colourpop, because I wanted to use that a little bit. So I've been playing around with like the warmer tones in here, the gold. I used this for my outer corner. I used this to deepen up the crease a little bit. Yeah, it's not spectacular. It's a fun look. I just had to do something quick, and that's a very easy palette for this. For those type of occasions, I really should have used this yellow. I've never done that. So I don't know about the quality. I must say this new month I'm using other palettes and I have more time, so I get to know them a little bit better than I've done with these. But yeah, I really like this palette. The only thing I don't really like is that these like shimmery shades, the oils are spilling a little bit, and that makes them a little bit, as you can see, it makes it a little bit grubby. This is one of my least favorite shades. I know people love these types of shades, but for me this doesn't look flattering on my skin. I don't know why that is, but I don't really love it. Then for the next look you are seeing on the screen, I use this small palette, and this is one of my absolute favorite palettes from Natasha Denona. This is the mini retro. This is like where the midi is a... These two should be very much complementary. That is what she says. She doesn't want to make a like big size of this one or a small size of that one. It depends on what she brings out first, but these are supposed to be very complementary towards each other. I don't know if that's the case in this instance, but this is by far one of my favorite palettes. Not necessarily one of my favorite minis. It is my favorite mini, but it's also one of my favorite palettes in her collection, because I love these like more gray toned subdued pinks. The green, it is stunning. This look is so easy to throw together, and it's totally up my alley. It's that soft glam, that subdued colorful look, but also fun playing with colors. And yeah, this is, I love this look. This is a look I do so many times. Then the next look is with this Zendo palette, and as you can see, I have been playing with these shades. Mainly I put this in my crease, and I put this one in my outer corner, then this in my outer corner over this shade, and then this in my inner corner and this on the lid. And I thought it is so much fun. This is also one of my top favorite palettes from Natasha, because I really love the color scheme. I love these types of colors like the sea green, but I also love the teal blues. I love this like murky brown green, army green. And I also like these like somewhat more warmer and pinkier tones. So this is a palette I would totally take on like holiday or when I'm traveling. Yeah, because I can get a lot of looks I like to wear out of this palette. So I think this is one of the best ones. It is also in her midi size, so it's $65, and it's when it comes to the quality of the shades, it's like it's in the top tier. It's in the top tier. It's not the same as like the gold or the sunset. It's more like towards the retro and the Love palette and the quality in there. So I must say, babe, I really love it. Then the next picture, I'm not fully sure. I am keeping a little bit better. What I've been doing, I've just done the look and then I took a picture and I'm like, okay, that's done for the video. But I didn't take a picture of the palettes I was using. So sometimes I'm like, what did I use? I don't remember. But I have been better. I have been better from now on. I'm taking a picture of the palette and then I'm taking a picture of the look, because otherwise I wouldn't know what I've used. But I think for this look I used two palettes. Again, this is the Sunrise palette. I'm going to show you. Oh, I'm such a good YouTuber. Let me show you. All right. The Sunrise palette, and I only used Laurel and I think a little bit of Dayspring. Very nice, but I haven't been able to use this enough to really give you a good review on it. I have only used this Morgan matte, and I think I used it in my inner corner, so it worked nice like the rest of them, but to me it felt very much like the Zendo, the retro, the glam, like up there. And then the rest came from this palette, more of like a warmer crease. Put this in my outer corner together with this on the lid, and then I took, I think, a little bit of that Laurel and Dayspring like on my lid. And I must say, I really like this. I like these two palettes, and the Biba I love. This mini Biba is like a complement to the bigger Biba. I'm going to show you side by side. And if I'm honest, this one is really a good complement to this palette. And the reason for that is because these are a little bit more rosy toned. And I think the quality of that like middle shade, this is Blaze Nude. I have no clue if she has it in any other of her palettes. I don't think I have them in any of these. I should check. I will leave a little remark down below. But yeah, I really like this little shade. It's very pigmented, it's very foiled, but it's also very soft and buttery. And I know people hate it when you say that, but it is buttery. It's such a soft shade. You don't need to spray your brush if you don't want to. And yeah, I really love this. And it's such an easy neutral look, but just, I think because it's a little bit more rosy toned, it had something interesting in it. So I really enjoyed playing with this Biba palette. I reach for it a lot if I want... Ooh. I'm sorry, I got stuck in my hair. If I want something easy, fast, and it needs to be a little bit more neutral, I really, really love to play with this mini Biba. So yeah, really love that. Then the next look is one of my favorite looks I did with the Natasha Denona palette. And this is a look I did with two palettes as well. And I used for this the Metropolis palette. This is one of my absolute favorite palettes of the brand. The color story is so much fun, and as you can see in this picture, I've reached for the greens over here, this green over there, and I combined it with this mini gold palette. This is also such a weird mini to the regular gold. It's like, yeah, they should be complementary to each other, but I will keep them, or we'll put them up side by side, and you be the judge. What do you think? Is it a complement towards each other? It does seem like they're very distant cousins, not really brothers or anything. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I would reach for this palette when I'm reaching for that, but I felt like I should reach for the mini gold when I was reaching into this, because these look similar. It's like this one fills small gaps in this one. The only thing I don't really love about this palette is this section here is really, really warm. And I don't really know if I need all the shades. Like these two are very similar. These two are very similar as well. These are very similar. These I don't need all of them. And it's the same a little bit with the gold. Yeah, you have like, you know, there are some differences in there, but it's so subtle that I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So I love this part of the palette, and I've used this part of the palette, and this, yeah, I've never used this blue. I totally should. It looks stunning. I must say that the Metropolis is one of my most favorite palettes of her, because I love to just play with this side. It's like, this is my happy place. I love the greens. I love the little blues. These two, like cream to powder, they're so deep and sultry. It's so stunning. So yeah, I love this palette. It's just, it has its flaws, but yeah. Don't we all? And then the last look I have for you for all my Natasha Denona looks is this one. The one on the screen. And I must say, it's my most favorite look I've done from all the looks. It's a stunning, like olivey green, full matte, only matte look, and I had such a blast creating this. I don't even know, I wore it to something. I did it for a special occasion, but I have no clue. 30th of March, I don't know. My dad's birthday was the day before that. I can't remember, but ow. That hurt, dude. Stay upright, please. This is the palette I used for this look together with the small Zendo. I will show you in a sec. But what I used, is that true? Is that all I used? Or am I lying? I don't even think this is all I used. I feel, also the mini gold. I think I had a whole plethora. But why didn't I take a picture? I think I took a picture. Nah, this is the picture. I used, indeed, the mini gold. I used the Zendo, or the mini Zendo palette. And I used the Safari palette, this one. The look. I love it. It's so stunning. Okay, what I did. I know I used this shade. Oh, I'm struggling. This shade I used in my in my crease, and then this I used in my lower crease and like somewhat on the lid. That is what I did with that. And then I use this one in like my outer corner and in the like outer part of my crease, and then I took this one Rhino to deepen up my outer corner a little bit more, because it's a stunning shade, because it has that grayness to it, and the rest of the greens also have that grayness to it. And then I put this one further all over my lid, and I took the deep gray out of this one to even deepen up the look a little bit more, and I took the little white one to put in my inner corner. And I must say, I loved it. Oh no. What I also used, what I also used for my inner corner before I just made the like inner corner really white is this shade, Malia. Beautiful. And I must say, I know a lot of people are not really into the Safari palette, and I don't really know why, because it's, look at the color story. It's totally what I love. It reminds me a little bit of that new Blend Bunny palette. I can't recall, what's it called? Like the more neutral one. Stunning colors, and they, for me, perform really, really nice. And I must say, all these like shades have very nice connections to the rest of the collection. So yeah, I really love this palette. This is one of my favorite palettes, and one of the palettes I reach for the most, I think, together with the Biba before I got the Glam and before I got the Retro and the Mini Biba. So yeah, I must say this is one of the palettes I really, really love, and I also really like this one. It's just a very, very easy companion palette. It has the deep black, but also a deeper gray and a lighter gray. It's such an easy palette to use. The quality is stunning. And if you're like me, you love doing colorful looks, but you need sometimes that touch of white, that touch of black, that touch of like what I did here, like that cool tone gray to make that the grayness in the green pop. Stunning. So yeah, this is a beautiful palette as well, and of course this one as well. So I must say, they're so interesting as well. They really challenge me when it comes to color stories. I love, love, love this palette. And I think it performs beautifully. It blends beautifully. The mattes are stunning. Buttery, as they say. I know people hate that word, but I'm just gonna keep saying it because it's buttery. It is what it is. So yeah, if I have to pick some favorites or the ones I would never give or declutter, it's definitely this one. It is also this one, because there are such unique color stories. I also wouldn't declutter this one. This is the Mini Biba. You can't see anything. The Mini Biba, because I really like these. The rest, okay, and this is an unpopular opinion, the rest is debatable, because I know the rest of these shades I can get somewhere else. But these four palettes to me are really special. I only have one palette that looks a little bit more like this, and it's the Lime Crime Venus XL number 2. It is already packed away, so I can't show you, but that is a stunning palette as well, and that looks a lot like that color story. It's like that mini in a bigger version. Okay, and the ones that I think, if I have to declutter, then I probably would declutter the gold, and I would declutter the sunset, because they're nice, but yeah, they're the least interesting, and especially the gold palette is like the least, well, for me, the palette that performs the worst. It just wears off really, really quickly, and I think that's a no-go when you're paying these type of prices, because this is a $125 palette. It shouldn't be fading in a few hours. But that's my humble opinion. Ladies, thank you so much for watching. I would love to know which palette from Natasha Denona is your ultimate favorite. I am going to tackle Urban Decay, Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm forgetting one. Let me check. Sigma in my next video, and I'm doing a lot better. I'm wearing the Urban Decay today. I'm keeping better track of what I'm using, what the looks, what palettes I've been using. So that is coming up for next month. That is going to be the palettes that I'm using in April. And I'm so happy to have done this. I think this is such a fun project. If you liked what you saw, then please give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I would love to see you in my next one. Bye!